devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories, all glories, all glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. हरे कृष्णा। सभी को नीचे बैठ जाइए। अभी नरसिंह आरती होगी। अपने अपने स्थान पे यथास्थान कृपया बैठ जाएं। नमस्ते नरसिंहाय। नमस्ते नरसिंहाय। प्रह्लाद लाददायिने। हिरण्यकशिपूर्वक्षः। श्रीलटाङ्खानथालये। इतो नरसिंह परतो नरसिंह। इतो नरसिंह परतो नरसिंह। यतो यतो यामि ततो नरसिंह। यतो यतो यामि ततो नरसिंह। बहिर्नरसिंह हृदये नरसिंह। हृदये नरसिंह। नरसिंहमदिं शरणं प्रपदे। शरणं तव करकमलवरे नखामद्भुतशृङ्गां दलिता हिरण्यकशिपु तनुभृङ्गा। केशवधृता नरहरिरूपा। जय जगदीश हरे। जय जगदीश हरे। जय जगदीश हरे। कर कमलवरे नखा। नरहरि रूपा। जय जगदीश हरे। जय जगदीश हरे। जय केशवधृता नरहरि रूपा। जय जगदीश हरे। जय जगदीश हरे। जय जगदीश हरे। केशवधृता नरहरि रूपा। जय जगदीश हरे। जय जगदीश हरे। जय जगदीश हरे। जय नरसिंहदेव नरसिंहदेव नरसिंहदेव। जय नरसिंहदेव। जय प्रहलाद महाराज प्रहलाद महाराज प्रहलाद महाराज। जय प्रहलाद महाराज। प्रेम से बोले सर्व विघ्नविनाशक श्री लक्ष्मी नरसिंहदेव भगवान की। भक्त श्रीमणि से प्रहलाद महाराज की। हरे कृष्णा। अभी यहाँ पर भगवत गीता पे अंग्रेजी में प्रवचन होगा। सो जिन भक्तों को इसका प्रवचन सुनना है कृपया यहाँ पे बैठे रहे. क्लास 7:30 से 8:30 बजे तक हुई. हरे कृष्णा. देयर विल क्लास ऑन भगवद गीता हियर फ्रॉम 7:30 to 8:30 p.m. So those who want to listen it, please be kindly seated and don't make any noise. Hare Krishna. Class will be by His Grace Mukundmala Prabhu ji.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरावनचारी यमुना तीरावनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरावनचारी यमुना तीरावनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे निताय गौर हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद जय कलियुग पावन श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Hare Krishna. So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 3. Chapter is titled Karma Yoga, text number 10. सह यज्ञा प्रजा सृष्ट्वा पुरोवाच प्रजापतिः अनेन प्रसविष्यध्वम् एषवोस्त्विष्ट कामधुक्. In the beginning of creation, the Lord of all creatures sent forth generations of men and demigods, along with sacrifices for Vishnu, and blessed them by saying, "Be thou happy by this yajna sacrifice, because its performance will bestow upon you everything desirable for living happily and achieving liberation." Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. The material creation by the Lord of creatures, Vishnu, is a chance offered to the conditioned souls to come back home, back to Godhead. All living entities within the material creation are conditioned by material nature because of their forgetfulness of their relationship to Vishnu or Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Vedic principles are to help us understand this eternal relation, as it is stated in the Bhagavad Gita, Vedaischa sarvair ahameva vedyaha. The Lord says that the purpose of the Vedas is to understand Him. In the Vedic hymns it is said, Tappatim Vishwasyatmeshwaram. Therefore, the Lord of the living entities is the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, Srila Shukadeva Goswami describes the Lord as Pati in so many ways. Shriyapatir Yajnapati Prajapatir Diyam Patir Lokapatir Dharapatihi Patir Gadishchandhaka Vrishni Satvatam Prasidatam Me Bhagavan Satam Patihi. The Prajapati is Lord Vishnu, and He is the Lord of all living creatures, all worlds and all beauties, and the protector of everyone. The Lord created this material world to enable the conditioned souls to learn how to perform yajnas for the satisfaction of Vishnu, so that while in the material world they can live very comfortably without anxiety, and after finishing the present material body, they can enter into the kingdom of God. That is the whole program for the conditioned soul. By performance of yajna, the conditioned souls gradually become Krishna conscious and become godly in all respects. In the age of Kali, the Sankirtan Yajna, the chanting of the names of God, is recommended by the Vedic scriptures. And this transcendental system was introduced by Lord Chaitanya for the deliverance of all men in this age. Sankirtan Yajna and Krishna consciousness go well together. Lord Krishna in his devotional form of Lord Chaitanya is mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam as follows, with specific reference to the Sankirtan Yajna. Krishna Varnam Tusha Krishnam Sangopangastra Parshadam Yajnai Sankirtana Prayair Yajantihi Sumedhasaha. In this age of Kali, people who are endowed with sufficient intelligence will worship the Lord, who is accompanied by his associates by performance of Sankirtan Yajna. Other yajnas prescribed in the Vedic literatures are not easy to perform in this age of Kali. But the Sankirtan Yajna is easy and sublime for all purposes, as recommended in Bhagavad Gita also, 9.14. So we are continuing our discussion on the third chapter. Krishna is discussing about sacrifice. सह यज्ञ प्रजा सृष्ट्वा पुरोवाच प्रजापतिः अनेन प्रसविष्यध्वम् एष वोस्त्विष्ट कामधुक्. So at the beginning of creation of this universe, The Lord of the creation introduced this system of sacrifice. System of sacrifice. So that everyone can be happy. Without performing sacrifice, this verse says, people cannot be happy. So what is the sacrifice? Sacrifice means, so we are all part of a whole, right? We are, say for example, we are in a family. So there are 5 members, 4 or 5 members. One member is there and everyone is related to him. So if I want to stay in a family, then I have to follow certain standards in house. If I respect everyone, follow the norms, then we get the benefits of family. If I am in a classroom, then we are expected to follow certain rules. If I am sitting in a temple hall, we are expected to follow certain norms. Right? But when you sit here, follow the norms, then we get the benefit of the whole classroom, which alone we may not get. So when we are part of a whole, we have to give up certain things. We have to give up our impulsive behavior. But in return, we get the benefit. If I am alone in a room, I can do anything. I can sleep, I can sit anywhere, sit anyhow, sleep anyhow, eat anything. No one is going to ask me anything. But if I am in a group, then I have to respect the group's mood. So I give up my personal choices, impulsive behavior, and in return I get some benefit. So that giving up certain things is called sacrifice. If I am a part of a bigger community, if I am living in a building, society, cooperative society, then also I have to follow certain standards. I have to follow what the society authorities have set. But then, what are the benefits? I get the benefits of water supply, electric supply, and whatever group activities happen in the building. I am invited. Right? So when you stay in a community, we are expected to follow certain rules, which means I have to sacrifice my personal impulsive behavior. And in return, I get some benefits. Bigger the community, bigger the benefits. As a citizen of this, as a resident of the city, or a state, Maharashtra, or the country, India, if I am a proper citizen, I have to give up certain things. I have to follow the state laws. I have to follow the nation's laws. But in return, I get better benefits. I get the benefits of being a citizen of India. I am respected whenever I go abroad because I am an Indian, wherever Indians are respected. And so many other benefits, citizenship benefits, Aadhaar card, this and that. So that sacrifice, what we give up and what we get in return. So in a society, when we are part of a whole, depending on how big the whole is, to that degree I have to give up something, and to that degree I get the benefit. Now when what we give is more than what we get, if what I give is less than what I get, in a family, let us take the smallest unit. We are just taking. One member is simply taking the benefits from the parents, from the siblings, brothers and sisters, and not giving anything in return. When what happens? Then there is family dispute, right? Just imagine a child gets up early in the morning, leaves the beds as it is, doesn't fold the clothes, doesn't wash the clothes, throws things everywhere. Hmm. So the child is very small, the parents won't say anything. But if the child is grown up, and if he continues to behave like that, then the parents will say, "Hey, be responsible, do something." Hai ki nahi? So if someone is simply taking benefits without giving anything, then that can cause a disruption in that community. Similarly, in a country, if people are simply taking the benefits of the country and not giving returns, not contributing to the development of the country, then the country becomes dysfunctional. So more we take and less we give, we are adding to the disruption factor. The country cannot, the community, the whole cannot survive for long. But if people give more and take less, such a community will flourish and be happy. People will be happy. So Krishna here is talking about the concept of sacrifice on a universal level. Not just family, not just country, not just this world, on a universal level. So we understand I am a part of the nation India. I am a part of this world. I am a part of this earth. I am also a part of the universe. Am I following the rules of the universe? Am I simply taking the benefits of the universe and not giving enough in return? If that happens, then there is universal disruption. So therefore we need sacrifice. Sacrifice in this chapter, in this context, Krishna is talking about reciprocating with universal administrators. Just like if I want to stay in my building, I have to pay my electric bills, I have to pay my water bills on time, I have to pay my phone bills on time, all other bills, internet, Wi-Fi bills. If I don't pay, what happens? The supply will be cut off. 1 महीना 2 महीना देखेंगे वो लोग. And then if you don't pay, then they will cut off the supply. Then there is a disruption. That's a disruption. Right? Then we cannot continue staying comfortably. Similarly, on a universal level, am I giving back in return for the benefits I am getting? That is the question we need to ask. So what are the benefits we are getting on a universal level? What are the benefits? Sunlight we are getting. Moonlight we are getting. Anything else? Oxygen, all the gases, all the elements. We get rain on time, usually. Then air, the oxygen. So many benefits we get. What are we doing? What taxes are we paying back for this? Are we paying for the oxygen we are getting? If rains don't happen on time, just imagine rainfall comes late in Maharashtra, in Bombay. All our lakes will dry up, right? 20 million people staying in Bombay will be without water supply. But somehow rains are happening. Although I am not paying anything, I am not reciprocating, I am not even inquiring. Forget about paying. I am not even inquiring who is supplying the rain on time. The scientists may explain because of certain atmospheric pressure changes here and there, clouds come and then they fall. But who is in charge of the whole this? Is there anyone in charge of the whole phenomenon? We never bother to ask this question. If electricity fails, electric supply fails, we are immediately pointing the fingers to BST and BMC, everyone. Because we know there are people handling. There are engineers handling all those things. But when it comes to natural supplies, we believe it's happening automatically. We don't acknowledge there could be people, administrators, who are overseeing this operation. And because, and if there is a disruption, maybe someone is failing to pay the taxes. हो सकता है ना? If there is excess rain, if there is flood, किसी ने कुछ तो गड़बड़ किया है कहीं पे. If there is excess heat, excess cold, floods, tsunamis, earthquakes, maybe is it because someone is doing some disruption here and there? We may come up with all kinds of explanations, scientific explanations saying, यहाँ का tectonic plates got shifted and other things happened, universe, moon and high tide and low tide. All these are details of explanation. Who is managing all this? Is there some people overseeing these operations, controlling the supply? कभी कभी ज़्यादा, कभी कम, withdrawing, withholding the supply, sometimes overflooding the supply. Both less and excess can cause disruption. So Krishna here is saying, because if we don't reciprocate, if we don't acknowledge these universal administrators, then there is a disruption. And people of modern times have a hard time believing that such a thing happens. So it is easy to understand there is a minister of communications, there is a ministry of rural development, there is a ministry in the government of India looking after industrial development, electricity, railways, water supply. There is a minister on a state level, on a national level, maybe on a UN level also, there could be someone. But beyond earth, beyond in the solar system, on a universal level, are there people who are monitoring the distribution of air, water, sunlight? Sunlight, we understand. Moonlight, we understand. We know there is a sun. But do we believe that there is a person who is controlling the sun? There is a person who is controlling the moon and the moonshine and sunshine. Or is it happening automatically, randomly? In the 4th chapter, Krishna says, I instructed the science of Bhagavad Gita to the sun god, Vivaswan. He takes the name Vivaswan. Vivaswan is Surya Dev ka naam. So that means there is a person who is overseeing the operations of sun. And his name is Vivaswan. Similarly, there is a person who is in charge of the moon. And similarly, other planets. Saturn, Jupiter, every planet. There is a heavenly regions who is, Indra is the king of the heavenly demigods. Similarly, there is Lord Brahma, who is the in charge of the whole universe. There is Lord Shiva. ये लोग को हम लोग मंदिरों में पूजा करते हैं. But when we tell them these people are overseeing certain operations, we say, come on, mythology, superstition, ऐसा पकाओ मत हमको. जय श्री राधा गोपीनाथ भगवान की. So we will find so many homes in India where all the photographs are there, hundreds of photographs, and they do aarti of all these people, Durga, Ganesh. But when we tell them, what do they do? How do they run the universe? We say, come on, ऐसा कुछ है नहीं. They are simply photographs for my worship. And they are supposed to give me blessings whenever I am running short of certain things. If I'm running short of money, Saraswati, Lakshmi ji should give me money. If I'm encountering some obstacle, Ganesh should come and remove my obstacles. We have limited their operations to these things, to solving my problems of life. Or what is their role in the universal affairs? So Krishna here says that if you want to stay happily in this universal system, you are a part, the universe as a whole, there has to be exchange, reciprocal exchange. You are receiving so many things from the universe. You have to give something in return. And if you don't do that, then there is disruption. There is chaos. If one person does, no problem. 2-3 people do, no problem. But if an entire civilization don't do this, then don't be surprised if you face problems. So in ancient times, when Krishna was speaking this to Arjuna, people didn't have difficulty in accepting this principle. There were kings who would organize yajnas on a large scale. They would offer certain worship where people will come together, offer things. They had regular interaction and communication with devatas. And in this way, reciprocation would happen. But over a period of time, we call this age as the age of Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga is an age of faithlessness. People don't have faith in anything subtle, anything metaphysical. Unless we see things, only then we believe. And we start questioning, ये दिख तो नहीं रहा है तो पता नहीं है कि नहीं. So that's what Krishna says. We have to have constant exchanges. We have to do something in return for the benefits we are getting here. And the moment we fail to do, there is imbalance, which will lead to disruption. So therefore, sacrifice is essential. So you find several stories in the Mahabharata, in the Puranas, where people perform sacrifices. Now sometimes the sacrifice may appear selfish. I want something, therefore I do something. Okay, I want a child, so therefore I will do some sacrifice and invoke the blessings of some devata and get a child. I want money, lot of wealth, so I do some sacrifice and then I get what I want. I want good education, I want fame and name and respect. I worship this devata, do sacrifice and get the benefit. So sacrifice may appear selfish. We may think, we may dismiss it saying, come on, I don't believe in all these things. But then sacrifices are the recommended methods of attaining material benefits. The Shastra says, if at all you want any material benefit, this is the method. You worship so and so person in this method and then you get the benefit. So in the Mahabharata you find the story of Drupada. Who was Drupada? Draupadi's father. So Drupada and Dronacharya had an enmity. Some personal relationship problem they had. They were students of the same Gurukul when they were children. But then over a period of years, some misunderstanding happened and they became enemies. So Drupada wanted to take revenge against Dronacharya. And he thought, I need a son who can kill Dronacharya. No, killing is not a legal thing. Killing is a crime. But if at all you want to kill someone, you follow a method. You follow a recommended method. We don't encourage anyone here to follow this method. But if at all people wanted to have this revengeful attitude, this was a method. So what did Drupada do? He started looking for a priest who can help him fulfill this desire. So he was looking for someone. Finally, he found someone. He found two brothers, two Brahmana brothers, priests. Their names were Yaja and Upayaja. Yaja was the elder one, Upayaja was the younger one. So he observed them for several months and thought, these are qualified, powerful priests. Maybe they can help me get a son who can kill Dronacharya. So he served them for 1 whole year. Look at the effort he is putting in. What is the purpose? Kill Dronacharya. Iske piche, he is not taking a gun and shooting Dronacharya. He would have done if he wanted, right? But he is following a big procedure to fulfill his desire. So he observes them for 1 whole year and finally approaches, serves them nicely and goes to them and goes to the elder one, Yaja, and says, look, I have this desire. Can you help me? So Yaja thinks for some time and says, look, I consider this improper. You are asking me to help you kill a Brahmana? Sorry, I cannot help you. So Drupada was disappointed. But he continued. He thought maybe he will change his mind after some time. He continued serving Yaja for some more time. Finally, Yaja said, okay, you want someone? You can go to my brother, Upayaja. He may agree to help you. Why? Because I have seen him eating food anyhow, anytime. I have seen him in my childhood. He would eat anything, anytime, without considering time and place and purity. The person who eats anything, anytime, will not have proper intelligence, so maybe he will agree to your proposal. Interesting insight. That means, if we don't have proper discretion while eating, we may agree to any temptation. So anyway, he goes to Upayaja and submits his proposal saying, I want to kill Dronacharya. Can you help me have a son? So Upayaja, as expected, he agreed to the proposal. But then he involves his brother also, saying, you have to help me. So although the brother was not inclined, he was forced. So finally, both of them decide to perform a yajna for Drupada so that he can get a son who can kill Dronacharya. So they come to his capital, Panchal, and they begin the process, yajna. And at the end of the yajna, it's the fire sacrifice, right? They would do all those ahuti and other things. Finally, the right time, there comes out one effulgent, brilliant young man dressed in royal robes, holding a sword and all kinds of weapons. And Drupada accepts him. The priest says, this is your son who will fulfill your desire. So the history is, there was a fight between the Kauravas and Drupada. Few years back maybe, where the Kauravas, Dronacharya had sent them as, they wanted Guru Dakshina for their education. So they said, I want you to capture Drupada. So Kauravas had attempted first, but they couldn't defeat Drupada. Then Pandavas went, they defeated Drupada and captured him. And then that was a Guru Dakshina they gave to Dronacharya. So in that battle, Arjuna had fought very nicely. He was the one who captured Drupada, for Dronacharya's sake. So when this yajna finished, got over, this person came out. His name was Drishtadyumna, Drupada's son, out of the yajna. So Drupada said, okay, my desire is fulfilled, but I have one more desire. Can I get one more daughter who can become the wife of Arjuna? Because if my daughter marries Arjun, we will have an alliance with the Pandavas who are powerful. So when you have multiple kings allied together, then that combination becomes very powerful. So the priest said, yes, you can have a daughter also. Then out came Draupadi. Very beautiful, all good qualities, and Drupada accepted her as his daughter. So in this way, the sacrifice was successfully completed. So the point is how kings used to perform sacrifices in order to get their desires fulfilled. Not that I decide the procedure how to obtain something. If I want wealth, I will do by hook or crook. I will raid a company, raid a bank, and then loot the money. Or I will decide my procedure to get the money. Or if I want to take revenge, I will decide, I will break the law and somehow. So the Shastras give recommendation, procedures, methods by which our desires can be fulfilled in an appropriate manner. Even though it is appearing selfish. But to fulfill our selfish desires, there are legal methods. That's how we contribute back. So there is a cooperation between human beings on earth and the devatas on the higher regions. So the universe is such a huge thing, it cannot run automatically. A simple organization cannot run on its own. If I want to operate a machine, if I want to operate an electric powerhouse or any other machine, a factory, there are so many machines running. It cannot run automatically. But someone has to come early, they have to switch on the buttons, turn on the power supply, make sure everything is proper. They have to do regular maintenance. If there is a problem, they have to fix it. So there are people who are managing the running of the machine. Nothing runs. Even a small machine cannot run automatically. Then how can a huge universe run automatically? This is the biggest blind faith we have. Scientists accuse people who are followers of religion of blind faith. The scientists themselves are the biggest followers of blind faith because they don't believe that the universe can be run. They believe that universe is running automatically. This is the biggest blind faith. Is it not? Blindly believing that such a huge machine has no controller. Isn't that blind faith? If I tell, if suddenly the electric supply goes off, imagine the whole temple becomes dark. Whom will you call? The neighbor ka sab aaju baju ka sab building andhera ho gaya. Whom will you call? You'll call the electric engineer, right? हमारे आसपास का जो भी है, BMC का जो भी रहेगा. Because we know there is a person who is overseeing. But if it's नहीं सब automatic चल रहा है. बोले ऐसे थोड़ी लाइट कभी चालू होगा ही नहीं यहाँ पे. अंधेरे में रह जाओ हमेशा. है कि नहीं? So when there is a problem, natural calamities happen, we don't dial someone. Chalo Indra, call Indra. Call Vayu, Mr. Vayu. Why there is thunderstorm and why there is cyclone? Vayu is operating somehow dangerously. Because we don't believe only such a person exists. But Shastras give ample references. Varuna Dev, Vayu, Agni. They are not simply terms to describe them. They are people, conscious living beings who are overseeing the operations. Powerful people. Like in that Srimad Bhagavatam, Krishna Leela, we find the story of Govardhan pastime. So Nanda Maharaj wanted to organize a yajna. Yajna for the satisfaction of Indra. Indra the Devata, head of the Devatas. What was the reason he gave? He said, every year we do this. Every year we perform a yajna for the pleasure of Indra. Why? Because Indra is the one who supplies the rain. And without rain, there cannot be production of food grains. When there is ample rain, there is good harvest of the crops. And when there is good harvest, we get enough grains and everyone is happy. So therefore, Indra is playing a major role in our life. So we will reciprocate with Indra by performing a yajna. And we have been doing this for so many generations. So this year also we will do. And Krishna happened to hear this. What was Krishna's response? Krishna said, don't care about Indra. Indra is simply doing his duty of supplying rain. Whether you do yajna or not, he has to supply rain anyway. Instead, let us do the yajna for Govardhan. Why? Because Govardhan is supplying us so many nice grasses. The cows are feeding on the grasses. And there is Govardhan is supplying so many other things. So let us do yajna for Govardhan. So in this way he convinced Nanda Maharaj to divert the ingredients for Govardhan's yajna. So Nanda Maharaj said, but if we don't do yajna for Indra, Indra may create trouble. Nanda Maharaj had faith that Indra was a person and Indra can create trouble. He was not a non-believer like today's times. It's a mythology, superstition. People in those times had faith. These people exist. So he said, okay, if you are telling, we will do. But deep within he was wondering, Indra ko gadbad to nahi karna chahiye. And they did the yajna for Govardhan. And everyone enjoyed a big feast. A nice gala time everyone had. But at the end of the yajna, something happened. What happened? Suddenly they saw clouds, dark black clouds, hovering in the sky. And there was suddenly a huge, heavy rainfall. And that rainfall is described not like our regular rains. Heavy rains. Drops were falling like rain, water was falling like columns, not just drops. Pillars of rain. And it was said that Indra was invoking not ordinary clouds. The clouds that were raining at that time were the clouds of Pralaya. When universal destruction happens at the end of creation, उस समय जो clouds आते हैं to destroy, those clouds were brought in to punish the Vrajavasis. Why? Because they didn't do yajna for Indra. So Indra was in action. And all these universal forces were in action to destroy this little village known as Vrindavan. So all the Vrajavasis got terrified. Such heavy rains. Their houses were getting drowned, crops were getting destroyed, animals, cows were getting terrified. So they went to Krishna. Because Krishna was the one who said, don't do Indra Yajna, Indra Puja. So Krishna then said, don't worry, we will handle this calamity. What did Krishna do? He went to Govardhan and lifted the mountain Govardhan. Govardhan was a huge, huge mountain. Krishna lifted the mountain and invited everyone to stand under the Govardhan mountain, Govardhan Hill. And all the Vrajavasis got accommodated under the hill. And they had a nice, much better time than what they would have otherwise had. Under the hill, 7 days, 7 nights, everyone was having a very happy time with Krishna. What appeared to be a big calamity turned out to be a big festival under the hill. And outside Pura, Pani. So point was, Nanda Maharaj didn't do the yajna for one devata. 1 year, just 1 year. All the previous years he was doing. 1 year he didn't do. And immediate there was a reaction. Indra reacted. How could these people not acknowledge my existence and not care to offer the tax? We are talking about taxes, right? They are not paying the taxes. I am supplying them so many things and they don't pay the tax. Indra got angry. And Indra responded. So Krishna is saying here, if we don't cooperate with the devatas, who are supplying so many natural elements, necessities, for the benefit of human society on earth, then we are causing disruption. They may continue supplying for some more time, but eventually there will be shortage and there will be disruption. Human beings cannot remain happy, live happily without acknowledging the contribution of the devatas. That's a respect. There's a system created by Krishna and we have to accept it. We have to follow. So therefore in this verse Krishna says, in the next couple of verses, Krishna says, this regular exchange between humans and devatas is the beginning of a happy human society. So in this way, sacrifice is an essential part. Initially, someone may perform sacrifice for, we find people, right, doing charity or doing some social welfare work, which is a kind of sacrifice. Sacrifice can be of pranair arthair dhiya vacha shreya acharanam sada. The highest sacrifice is the sacrifice of our own life, entire life. Sacrificing our whole life for a higher cause. If not the entire life, at least we can sacrifice our wealth. Because we give our life to earn wealth. So if you are sacrificing some portion of the wealth, it is like sacrificing some portion of our life. For most people, wealth is life. Or wealth is more than life for many people. So when we give out, when we sacrifice our hard-earned money for a good cause, we are sacrificing our life to some extent. If someone doesn't have money, then dhiya means intelligence. I use my intelligence for a higher cause. Or vacha means words, my speech. I use my speech for a higher cause, for a better cause. So we can perform sacrifice at various levels. Sacrifice, when we start sacrificing, the more we start sacrificing, the more we go from selfishness and rise above to selflessness. Ultimately, perfection of human life means total selflessness. In a contaminated state, we are selfish. I am the center and everything should revolve around for my happiness, my pleasure, my needs. A conditioned outlook of life means I look everything, how it can benefit me. How someone is my friend, someone is my enemy. This is how we calculate, usually. But that is a selfish state of existence. Selflessness means I shift the center from me to someone else. So initially we may perform sacrifice to gain something. A little higher than that is I perform sacrifice because it is the right thing to do. as a duty I may do. Okay, because I have got something, out of gratitude, I do something. I may not enjoy doing it, but it is the right thing to do. And the highest form of sacrifice, Krishna explains, when you sacrifice for the pleasure of God. Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu ma manusmara yuddhacha. Krishna says, Arjun, you may fight or not fight. You don't worry about what you will gain or lose out of this war. I want the war to happen, therefore you should fight. Because Arjuna's calculation initially was, if I fight the war, how will I enjoy? And so many people will die. What is the use of the war? All these arguments he was giving in the beginning. But then Krishna says, you don't worry about your happiness and non-happiness. This war is the right thing to do and I want it to happen. You do it. So that is, then Arjuna did. That is the highest sacrifice. He did it for the pleasure of Krishna. Krishna had a mission and Arjuna cooperated with Krishna in the fulfillment of the mission, which is dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. To fulfill that mission, Arjuna sacrificed his mission and contributed to Krishna's mission. So when we keep aside our little missions, little goals and priorities and sacrifice them for a higher cause, ultimately for God's cause, that is the highest sacrifice. But to reach that stage of sacrifice, we have to begin somewhere. Begin with little sacrifices. At least sacrifice for a family. Let us begin from there, the smallest unit. Maybe a little bigger sacrifice for the community, sacrifice for the state, sacrifice for the nation. Right? Someone who sacrifices their life for the nation, like defense, army people, soldiers, those who sacrifice their life for the nation, keeping aside all their family concerns, other things, they are respected the most, right? A soldier who is fighting on the border of India, his family, the government takes care of for such people. But that's a sacrifice. And that is appreciated everywhere. Extending it even beyond that, if someone is sacrificing for, say, on a world humanitarian crisis, on a UN peacekeeping forces, that is appreciated even better. So where does this end? Which sacrifice is the highest sacrifice? Krishna says sacrificing for the highest cause. When you do something for the pleasure of God, that is the highest. So there are different levels. So gradually evolving and elevating ourselves to that level is the perfection of life. So Krishna will continue this theme of sacrifice in the coming few verses, and we will discuss a little more in the coming verses, coming weeks. Any thoughts? Anyone has any questions?
Feel free to ask. Prabhuji is available. अगर हिंदी में भी पूछना है तो पूछ लीजिए.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. Prabhuji, since you have spoke about the sacrifice, if in case whatever the amount we earn and we sacrifice it according, but that is also will be a like somewhere selfishness. If whatever I'm sacrificing, some or the other way I'll get it in return. Okay, but that will be a selfishness, right? So what if I'm giving any amount? So how that amount can become a selflessness?
Yeah, so in the beginning it is selfishness only, and that kind of selfishness is okay. Begin somewhere. That is the whole point. We can never jump to the highest stage of selflessness. Even if it is selfish, at least begin somewhere. I may be sacrificing something for maybe some name, fame, respect. Okay, like the other day, वो KBC contest में किसी ने sacrifice किया ना? Neeraj something. You know the story? Neeraj, no, not Chopra. KBC, he was playing with Amitabh, that game, and in the middle, he earned some amount and he stopped. He said, I don't want to play further. Although he had lifelines and other things. He stopped the game and said, I want to withdraw, and he withdrew the amount, and someone else came and continued the game. And the remaining amount was given to someone else. He sacrificed. He 2.53 lakhs में उसने खत्म कर दिया. 1 करोड़ तक खेला ही नहीं उसने. And then he continued. He stopped there. And then people appreciated. What a sacrifice. 2.5-3 lakh withdraw करके चला गया वो. So point is, he didn't earn money, but he gained fame. है कि नहीं? He became famous all over the country for one act of sacrifice. So sometimes we may not earn money, but people may sacrifice, do charity and do other big acts of sacrifice in return of something far better than that, than money can provide you. But that is appreciated. That is also selfish only, but ठीक है. This is gross and subtle में फर्क है. So then, at least begin somewhere. Begin the art of act of giving. Gradually we will rise above, where we will be able to give out. A stage will come, a day will come, when we will be able to give out things without any expectation of return. That's what Lord Chaitanya prays in his Shikshashtakam. Na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim, kavitam va jagadisha kamaye. I don't want wealth, I don't want followers, I don't want anything of this material world. All I want is service unto you, life after life after life. Service unto Krishna, service unto his representatives is considered the highest gain than any material thing of this world. To come to this understanding takes a long time. Because right now, what we value is money, possessions, name, fame of this world. This is what we value right now. We don't understand the value of something, we don't understand the value of the opportunity to serve someone great. If that is available, Lord Chaitanya says, I am ready to give up all these things. So our appreciation for what is right, what is inferior, what is superior, this understanding takes time. In our conditioned state, we tend to give more value to inferior things. And what is of real value, we don't appreciate its value. We give more value to worthless things and we fail to appreciate what is really worthy things. Spiritual education means to come to the standard of understanding what is of real value and what is worthless. When we understand what is of real value, then we start easily giving up these things, inferior things. Therefore, in all the scriptures, in all the lives of great saints, you find they easily give up wealth, possessions, and we think they are crazy people, they don't understand. Because they have obtained something far superior, they can easily say no to these things. Thank you so much.
Anyone else? Mataji's? Anybody?
Time over here.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. You mentioned that there are different level of sacrifices, and you mentioned different examples that you begin with your family, then with your community, country, and so on. It goes on. But is there something where there is interdependence between all these sacrifices that somebody is doing? Or we can say that this is better than that, or there is a comparative analysis that is there in that. So my question.
That's what the verse is saying, right? It's interdependence. You give out, when you give something, then you get something. Yeah. But right now our position is we are simply taking things and not giving things in return.
Okay.
The sacrifice at least begin there. The devatas and other universal administrators are supplying so many facilities to us. What are we doing in giving back? Okay. So it's an interdependence. It is not simply one way exchange. Okay. So we'll stop here. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण। श्री राधा गोपीनाथ भगवान की। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण। ओनली करता नो। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, ना हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.